will need to cooperate. Everything we've heard for the afternoon from Nathan Wade, who said she paid in cash when she reimbursed him for these trips that they took. Specifically, we heard the Trump side's lawyer and Roman's lawyer they want to dig into that Belize trip. That was a birthday gift, apparently, that Fani Willis gave to Nathan Wade. And they said that they did not know or hadn't heard before today that it was cash reimbursement. So they want her to say whether or not how she paid Wade back. So she's definitely going to have to match the story that we've just heard from Wade.
And don't forget her former friend, who she's known for 30 years, going back to college, who testified under oath. She's going to have to answer for that.
Because the friend said that there was a relationship between Wade and Willis back in 2019.
And so will Willis talk about her concerns about her performance? And there's so many questions
about the former friend's performance.
Right. Who was either let go or threatened to be fired, but she decided to resign. So we don't even know what happened in that situation.
There's a risk going on the stand.
Yeah, there is, and so early too. This isn't a day later. This is right after we've heard from Nathan Wade.
I do want to bring J.M. Rieger in briefly. J.M., we didn't know if Fani Willis would take the stand today, and this is happening. Reflect on that.
It's quite remarkable, Libby, and again, there's really two key components of this whole thing. There's kind of the political component of this, and there's the legal component, the risk of disqualification. From a political standpoint, one of the attacks that we'd heard over and over again was that there was a financial benefit for Willis and Wade, and one part of that financial benefit was payments, and perhaps maybe overpayments was implied at times by the defense to Wade's firm, and we sort of heard that taken apart, if you will, when Cross was questioning Wade on that. So I wanted to point that out because I thought that was really notable. And the other thing here is Rhonda and James have pointed out, and the thing that we mentioned at the lunchtime break, Libby, is that the defense needs to establish that there is a conflict here, that there's a conflict on either the perjury front and or on the financial benefit front. They haven't been able to do that yet, and that's what they're hoping to do here by bringing Fani Willis to the stand.
Such a great summation, J.M. Thank you so much. So this is the question. Can Fani Willis resolve the timeline issues, and does it raise yet more questions? And James, to your point about the paper trail, what does the paper trail reveal?
Yeah, and ultimately Judge McAfee is the one making this decision. It's not a jury. The voters will decide whether she has earned another term. But Judge McAfee has to weigh the credibility of the chief prosecutor in the county where he's a judge. And you think about it, this person's integrity is being questioned. She's been called a liar repeatedly today, and now she's coming and gets the chance to defend herself.
She's also, Rhonda, had her personal life spilled out here, as has Nathan Wade, all day long.
Many comments said, salacious comments, things that, to me, it almost felt a little Clinton impeachment-esque, where they were trying to figure out the nature of the romance, their sexual relation. Yeah, that came up. That's something that will likely follow Fani Willis, even if she stays on this. That will be something that people will think about, and that sort of directs away the attention of this case she built over the course of 3 years. I mean, this is a case about election interference by a former president, or at that time a current president, trying to get more votes in Georgia that did not exist, press election officials there, try to do a fake slate of electors to turn their results from Biden to Trump. So that's what everyone had been talking about. But now that we've heard these details about their personal life, going on trips, going to cabins, the date of sexual relations, that's going to be something that down the line is going to be running in the background of all of this. So she has to contend with that as well.
One of the revelations from the second half of Wade's testimony is that their relationship, the personal relationship, at least in his telling, ended last summer. So that was sort of an open question. It'll be interesting to see what she has to say about that piece as well.
Right, which is interesting because he said it ended in June 2023. The indictment of Trump and the 18 other co-defendants, that came out in August of 2023. So, that is an interesting timeline. We're not sure why their relationship broke up, but it was before the indictments were handed down.
Something else that the Trump lawyer brought up that I thought was really interesting is that he kept using the word re-up, but he got a new contract after they admit the relationship was going on. Does that sway Judge McAfee at all?
JM, let's go to you for what you'll be watching here. What's crucial? What does Fani Willis need to do in the next little while?
Well, we heard defense talk that they're going to want to know about these cash payments potentially, and what Willis has to say about them. They're going to want to know about these trips. It seemed like Judge McAfee was initially a little skeptical. The Fulton County side, the prosecutor's side, was agreeing with Judge McAfee there right before Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis kind of appeared and took over and said that she wasn't going to contest the subpoena anymore. So does her testimony square with Nathan Wade's testimony, and where does that leave us? Because this could go a number of different directions, including, we could be on one end of the spectrum of all this gets wrapped up, maybe even by end of day. We could be on another end of the spectrum where this goes on for days if the testimony is inconsistent and the judge allows more and more evidence to be admitted. So there's a lot of different ways that this can go, Libby, but that's kind of the immediacy here is where's the consistency or inconsistencies, and what does the defense drill down on here?
J.M. Rieger outside the courthouse. If you're just tuning in, we expect Fani Willis, district attorney, to take the stand as soon as they get back into court here. We're taking a brief recess to go copy some documents, and it really did show sort of the power dynamic that shifted in that room when she walked in. The district attorney generally is someone who is used to being in control, is a very commanding presence, knows the relationships to the judge, right? Is always aware of sort of that the judge is the one in charge in a courtroom. But you could really tell that when Fani Willis came in the room, the energy changed, and there was really a scramble to figure out who was going to get the documents she requires and how they were going to get them quickly.
Yeah. And remember, she is an elected official, of course. She was voted into this position by the people of Fulton County. It almost seems like, because they were at that moment where the judge may have called it a day and said we don't need to call Fani Willis. In fact, in the Monday hearing, he seemed a little hesitant to call her as a first witness. So we don't know. She may never have needed to appear today, but she did. And you wonder, is she wanting to clear her name and move forward with this case she built?
All right, the judge is there. You can see Judge McAfee there. The lawyers are coming back in. We expect to see Fani Willis taking the stand here. She will be asked questions about the timeline of her relationship with Nathan Wade, the special prosecutor who she named. Also about the money, reimbursements for trips that he says they split the costs of, or trips that she paid for with cash, giving him cash for that.
All senior citizens can apply for the 2024 food allowance card. Hundreds of people have already received that.
Gunmen opened fire during the Chiefs Super Bowl parade in Kansas City, killing 2 innocent people and wounding more than 20, including several children. We pray for the family.
All right, we're back on the record. Deputy Scott, if you could swear in our next witness.
And I do apologize. Hannah. You can go ahead and swear Yes, District Attorney Fani, F-A-N-I. Last name is Willis.
Ms. Willis, how did you know to come into the courtroom right then?
There were people I was pacing in my office.
Okay.
And I heard someone yell, his testimony is done. It only made sense to me that I would be your next witness. And I've been very anxious to have this conversation with you today. So I ran to the courtroom.
So as soon as you heard that Mr. Wade was done testifying, that's when you just assumed you would be the next witness?
It only makes sense.
Did you listen to any of the testimony?
I've been in my office pacing, ma'am.
Did you listen to any arguments?
I did hear the arguments this morning. It's ridiculous to me that you lied on Monday, and yet here we still are. And I did listen to that argument.
All right, so that was it, just the argument, no testimony.
Right, I listened to the argument this morning where Adam Abadi, I thought, did an excellent job pointing out how dishonest you were with the court on Monday. And I'm actually surprised that the hearing continued. But since it did, here I am.
Great. So let's talk about, first let's just talk about what you did in preparation for today. Did you meet with Mr. Wade at all? Once the motion was filed, did you meet with Mr. Wade and talk to him about the motion that I filed to disqualify you?
On January, his first January motion?
Yes.
I don't know if you could say talked about. I probably had some choice words about some of the things that you said that were dishonest within this motion. So
Stacey, will you share it to Nina and the
Mr.
group?
Wade is a Southern gentleman.
Will you share it for me to everyone?
Okay, but my
Is my
question
sound
was,
okay,
did you have a
Stacey?
conversation
I
with him?
didn't have a substantive conversation.
You did not.
I read this motion, skimmed it more so, and I've probably said some choice things to him about
Thank you. Thank you so much.
some of the lies they were told.
Okay.
And been printed in the media because, we used to be in a date and time where you had 60 Minutes and people did
Hey,
stories.
big boy.
And they
Do you mind
verified
sharing it to the
information.
group?
And you had this great reporting. But it seems today that a lawyer writes a lie and then it's printed for all of the world to see.
Well, I just want to make sure that you answer the question I asked, though. So my question was,
Overruled, Mr. Abadi.
I told you what happened. I read the motion. I am sure I told him what my opinion of it is. And past that, we had no substantive conversation.
you did not.
Is there something you didn't understand?
No, I just wanted to make sure that
Okay.
you did not have a meeting with
love
him in the
her.
conference room to
I
discuss
just love her.
Next question,
No.
Ms. Merchant.
So in the conference room of my office,
I just love
within
her.
this week, you produced some financial document. That financial document was given to me, something, and I'm not even sure it was given to him by me or Mr. Abadi gave it to me. And I think he showed me a document in our conference room. But as far as a substantive conversation, I don't believe I've had any conversation with him that is substantive related to this.
Okay.
I have had conversations with him since you filed the motion, but they wouldn't be substantive to this. He sent me very nice sermons that have been done. And so we've had conversations about, did you listen to that sermon? Things of that nature. And I would say they were in relationship to this because I think he did it to be kind.
Let's start back in 2019.
Yeah.
So you and Mr. Wade met in October 2019 at a conference?
That is correct. I think in one of your motions you tried to implicate I slept with him at that conference, which I find to be extremely offensive.
Thank
I
you.
stayed at that conference. Mr. Wade was my teacher. I did not meet him when he taught the class. I was standing outside talking to Lisa Reeves, who is a judge. Me and her were just having a conversation. Mr. Wade walks up and they hug each other. They have some brief conversation. She introduces us.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. We kind of thought that when you asked a question, you can answer the question, not a speech, so I object to the speech.
I agree,
You
Judge.
won't be able to explain my answers.
I believe she's able to explain her answer.
And that's,
Ms. Merchant, that's okay. I can handle it. Ms. Willis, I'll ask you to just listen to the answer, the question, and keep the answers confined to the question as best you can. I think you'll have more than enough ample opportunity on when the state is
Well,
able
it's
to
highly
follow
offensive
up.
when someone lies on you, and it's highly offensive when they try to implicate that you slept with somebody the first day you met with them, and I take exception to it.
All right. Well, Ms. Willis, you'll have the opportunity to explain all of that when it's the state's turn to ask more open-ended questions.
Yeah.
Ms. Merchant.
thank you, Judge. So again, my question was, you all met at that conference, though, right?
We did the
Okay.
meeting. As I stated, he taught the class. I did not actually meet him when he taught the class. I walked out of the class, and I'm not sure if it was that exact class or we had went to lunch, but we were standing in the vestibule, like outside of the class. Me and Judge Reeves were having a conversation. She had worked at a law firm I worked at back in 1996.
We're getting way afar. I mean, I don't mind her explaining her answers, but I literally just asked if they met at that conference.
Explaining how she met Mr. Wade, which was exactly the question asked by Ms. Merchant.
It was-
These answers are more than appropriate.
Ms. Merchant, if you want more concise answers, perhaps you could lead the witness.
I will. Thank you, Judge. Isn't it true that you met Mr. Wade October 2019 at a judge's
We
conference?
haven't gotten to the point where Ms. Willis should be treated also in this situation.
I think we
I
have
very much want to be here, so I'm not a hostile witness. I very much want to be
Not
here.
so much that you're hostile, Ms. Willis, it'd be an adverse witness. Your interests are opposed to Ms. Merchant's.
Ms. Merchant's interests are contrary to democracy, Your Honor, not to mine.
All right, let's
Judge, I
proceed.
would just ask that
We can keep things moving. Ms.
Thank
Merchant,
you.
next question,
Thank you.
please.
Okay, so we've confirmed when you met. After that, isn't it true?
No, I need to explain this, and I think I get to explain my answers. When I met him, Judge Reeves introduced us. He handed me his business card. I'm unsure if I handed him my business card, but we exchanged information. He said, if you ever need any help, give me a call. And he walked to the parking lot.
So after that, you started dating shortly thereafter, correct?
That's a lie. That's one of your lies.
Okay. Do you know Robin Yurdy?
I know her as Robin Bryant. I knew her. So Robin did not go to my college. She went to the college of. I went to Howard University. She went to Morgan State. I met her through some people I knew. In college, we hung out a bit. Not much because she was in Baltimore and I was in Washington, D.C. But we hung out a bit. After college, I lost contact with her. I probably didn't see Robin again until maybe 7 or 8 years ago, a chance meeting here in Atlanta, but we did not have a consistent relationship from when I left college and came to Emory Law School here in Atlanta. But 8 to 10 years ago, just by happenstance, I ran into her.
So
she was in Atlanta.
You have been friends with Robin for 30-something years.
Did you hear my answer, madam?
Yes, and I'm asking if you've been friends with her for 30-something years.
I've known her for 30-something years. We certainly hung out and partied together in college. She was from the D.C. area. She would come home, we'd party together. Wasn't close, but she was certainly in the girlfriends that partied together. And then, like I said, I ran into her about 10 years ago in Atlanta, Georgia.
So
we didn't talk throughout that time period. I didn't see her. I didn't even know where she was. When I ran into her, I was surprised she was in Atlanta. And so, yes, I have known her probably since 1990, 1991, but we have not maintained a consistent relationship that whole time.
For the last 10 years or 5, whatever you'd like to classify it as, have you been friends with her?
I have not spoken to Robin in...
If you were involved in a car accident, you were not at fault.
Sorry, guys.
Listen to this. Insurance companies don't want you to know.
I need to update my YouTube so that I don't have commercials.
Insofar as exhibits 15, 16, 17, and 18, those documents that I recognize, and I don't have any objection to those. They clearly came from Fulton County. However, as exhibit number 14 contains several items that did not come apparently from Fulton County, and I'm standing next to Ms. Merchant to show them that they're not in that group of...
I don't know. The county attorney, I got them from the county. So it's me coming back and testifying.
But I can't agree that the documents that are not in the certified bundle are properly admitted as part of the exhibit.
Okay, Ms. Merchant, would you like to repackage and present to Ms. Cross Defense Exhibit 14?
I don't, they're exactly what I got from the county attorney. Apparently, they didn't want to testify, so they gave us a certification, but didn't put these in, so they're going to have to testify after. I got them from them.
The documents that the difference between the two document productions, what is the difference?
Bank credits, bank records, credit card statements, things like that wouldn't ordinarily be part and course of the Fulton County records.
But I got them from the Open Records portal, so that's where I found them.
No, I understand. But the difference